Mariken Halle has made theater and movies since childhood. And when she was not taken as an actor in this school, she went to a 2 years film education in Kabelvåg, Lofoten. After that, she went to Göteborg for a bachelor at the Göteborg Film School. Some of you might know these institutions. I think it's fair to say that they are more open for a creative approach to filmmaking than the classical film schools in Stockholm and Oslo and Lillehammer. Her way of working has been defined by creating good cooperative creative teams and often working in collaborations where people are exchanging time and creativity in their projects. After her exam film Kanskje i morgen, maybe tomorrow, she has made several movies that really got the attention of critics and a film-interested audience, like No Sex, Just Understand, and The World is Waiting, Verden venter, from 2014. Her style can, in one way, be described as it might look like something documentary style. Tension and conflicts are sometimes created in ways, so it's really up to us as an audience to interpret what is really going on and what is really the conflict and how is it unfolding. It's a form of movie making that I would say gives a huge space for the spectator and the spectator's interpretation and the dialogue with the spectator. So this is what I would call an approach that in itself is dialogic, that we have talked about in the context of polyvocality. The film happens as much in your head as it does on the screen. Welcome, Mariken Halle. So, just to start with, what is the Mariken Halle way of making movies? If you can try to describe that.
Since I wanted to be an actress, I think I've been able to create a way of making movies that the actor is in the center, the focus, and the way we talk and the way we relate to each other. So the technical part and the time we use on rigging and things are very, very little, and the time we spend just filming, being in something, in the moment with the actors is a very big part of the production.
So filmmaking for you is shooting?
Yes, and editing, because I've been editing a lot also.
Because you have a huge material.
Yeah, that's a consequence of being so in love with people you film, that you film so much, and I've spent a lot of time in the editing room also by myself.
But when you develop a project, could you say something about the process, like before you start to shoot, before we go to the shooting part?
I think actually, when you said that about that I try to create, I mean, when we made Maybe Tomorrow, I had just met Clara, who is the photographer of Maybe Tomorrow, and that was one of the first time I felt like, oh, we can really, really work together. And then that is almost the first thing I know about the project, that this project will be made by the two of us. We will go out and we will film. And then she gets a really, really big part in the film, and I give the camera to her and I trust her, and we talk about everything we go through. And it's really important that we are I think for me it's really important that the one who I work very close to are as interested in what themes we are going into as I am. Because if people are not that interested or just interested a little bit, then I feel it's better to be alone and very interested than to be together with a lot of people and feeling like, oh, I really have to have that feeling that this is the most important thing in the world. Um, this is my little niece, and I think she can stay in here because, yeah, I think that's important that children are allowed to be with us.
There are some still photos of you directing, and you're running around with a kid
Yes,
and a clapper.
yes, I was in Spillingsleder at the project with a baby 6 months old.
Mm.
It worked fine. It was really
But
fun.
all this obviously says something about your attitude, and now you also say that, okay, so I need a photographer that is into the project as much as you. So the cooperative, the team, the creative team, and the way they deal with it also kind of shape how the project is being done.
Yes, and
Very much.
very much.
It's not like you come with an initial idea and a script, and here it is, and this we're going to film. It's more like it's another process here.
Yeah, and I also with the film we're going to see some clips from, The World is Waiting. It was 3 girls who went to the acting school in Gothenburg at the same time as I went to film school, and they started making their own productions outside school because they felt, we need to play more. Or they used the school, they played in the school, but they did it in evenings and stuff. And I found those shows very, very entertaining. It was like a mix of analytic text and sketches, and yeah, they just really had something going on. And then I felt like, to make a film with them when they graduate, like the summer after they graduate from school, take them to Oslo and make a long film with them would be fantastic. And then that is the premise, and I have some ideas. Yeah, basically why I want to make films with them is because I relate to the themes that they are interested in. So, and also I kind of like the feeling that we make this, because then I asked them right after the show, I said, would you want to do that? And they said, yes, we will do it. And then we finance it afterwards, but we kind of know that I can get them to do it for like 12,000 each, and that I can borrow that from someone and I can make it. That of course is because come from I think that's also easy to say when a lot of artists comes from middle class or higher middle class, and you know that if it's a crisis I can borrow money. That's not for everyone to say that, but to kind of decide that you're going to do something first, and then it's a practical question like, how do we get some money for it? And to that film we got almost 3 million from the Swedish Film Institute, so they ended up being paid and everything, but I knew that they were there regardless. So
point is you find a structure, a way to make this movie, so you're going to make it anyway.
Yes,
even without financial support.
It's much easier to finance it, I think, because if someone say like, okay, but you can get money, but then you have to do this, and then I can say no, but then I'm not interested in that money. So you kind of have your dignity in your way. And then I think financing is really fun, because it's also fun because they are really used to people asking for permission. So when you suddenly don't do that, you say, we're filming then, and it will be like this and this, and if we get a lot of money, we will have more actors. If we don't get so many, I will use more people I know and real people, and then it's, you can have the conversation about practical questions and not like if it's going to be a movie or not.
We don't need to start to discuss the film funding system. There's already a huge debates going around about it, but we can say a couple of things, because you have also been very critical to the financement of movies. I found an interview where you say even Norwegians doesn't need to see bad state-financed krimis. and you argue for more daring projects. And the state funding is very, it has a kind of, there is a kind of way to do things, which is like you deliver the manuscript and you deliver the project description and so on. And it sounds like your way of doing things is not quite in the style of the Norwegian Film Institute. Do you feel there is starting to be more openness for other processes of filmmaking?
Yeah, I think so. Really think it's changing, and it's changing because filmmakers themselves are getting fed up by so many people use so many years of their life, like writing a little bit more, like trying to get, and they just get, okay, but if I'm going to make something at all, I have to just forget about them for a while, and then that is really healthy, I think. So you really. Yeah, like the way I work now with 3 other directors is, it's like a school situation again, almost.
Say something about how that.
Yeah, because we are 4 directors, and we have created a company that can apply for money, but we own our own work, and then we can switch time with each other. So if we don't have funding for a project, we can start it anyway, and we do, like in my project, one of the other guys are playing father of my baby. That was really practical. So, and one of the other are kind of an editing partner, and we don't know how we will work when we start. We just start, and then you feel your way into the projects. But it's so much. It can be so much anxiety just starting something up and taking the first call and say, okay, do you want to come? We are filming. So to be more people in that situation is really good. And also, of course, all the financing meetings. It's something completely else when you work 4 people into a room as producers than just one filmmaker. So and that is something that kind of structure we are planning to like have it as an open source thing, like sharing the contracts and the budgets and everything, so that if other people want to use the same model, they can do it, and the institutes will also get more used to, okay, but that structure, we know that, okay, then it's okay. Because of course, if you apply for 2 million, I mean, you have to be able to take care of that money in a good way and report and everything. I can really see that, and I see that, yeah.
A lot of representatives for different unions, and I know there are somebody here also in many unions, either it's the dramatic writers or the actors and so on, would say that, okay, but this structure is really making people work for free.
I don't think so,
What would you
because
say about
we
that?
count our work,
Yeah.
and we are, often it's just investing, like being the first to invest in a project. Because at the project we're working on now, we are paying all of the actors, like union, and we have gotten funding for all of them. But in the beginning, we use our own time, and we. I think that is really. I really like being the first to invest in a project, like with Magnus' film, where I was holding the baby, and yeah, he didn't have any money yet, but we were pretty sure he was going to have it. But it's fun to be there, out there in the woods, and we're doing it, and I'm doing it because I really want him to make a film and see what it's going to be like. So I think it's possible to really work for union. I mean, I think that's really important, that people get fair pay, and that if you get some money, it should be out to. It should be shared in a equal way, you know. It shouldn't be someone at the top getting a lot and then the assistant getting almost nothing. But at the same time, I think it must be in this world possible to do something because you think it's really important to do.
Once you have developed a project and you're starting to be ready to shoot, how much do you actually know what you're gonna do? how much do you know about the story, the conflict,
I've in the last project I know a lot about the main theme and where I think the themes I know a lot about, and I know a lot about how we are going to film it, but not like the whole storyline, more some ideas of the storyline, but I really like to have openness in, for example, in Maybe Tomorrow, the way that film ends is more complex, I think, than I could have written in advance. So I kind of had the feeling, it's going to be some kind of, this girl is going to have some kind of, she's going to walk out in the streets and screaming or something. And I wrote it and I thought, it's not really, really fantastic, but okay, I don't know how I should write it any better now. But then we got, out of practical reasons, I wanted an older boyfriend to her who was a psychologist, and it was hard to get one who could all the dates we were filming, so I asked different actors to play him. One day I was walking and I was like, okay, that would be really interesting to have like different guys playing this boyfriend. So then after doing that, I thought it would be really fun to have all these guys in one room at the same time. And then the end of the film is being that. So it's kind of accepting that you will find out smarter ideas if you paint a little bit and then go back and then see and then further.
So somehow the project itself is also developed through the practical obstacles and limitations of the project and using that creatively somehow.
Yeah, I really think that's a freedom thing, that you, if it's not possible, then try to turn it into some exciting thing that you don't have.
But what is your way of aiming when you then do a project? I mean, of course you can answer intuition, but is there something? I mean, since you don't have a clear plot or structure or character development, what is it the topic? Is it like a question? Is it a problem?
Maybe we can see the clip.
Yes, let's do that.
This is from the film with The World is Waiting, where Nina Bianca Elin plays waitresses in Oslo.
Maybe you can take down the lights here a little bit as well.
And they're starting their own theater company. And that's actually how it was in reality also. They were starting their own theater group. So they are in kind of the same situation.
I'm thinking about this slide, yeah.
Den biten, men jeg vil jo anbefale dere til å skaffe en revisor.
Du tycker det?
Ja, det er en veldig god investering.
Hva koster din revisor?
Jeg betaler vel, men det er en ganske stor bedrift. Så det er mye kvittering, mye regnskap som skal føres. Og han har kontroll med alt det, så jeg legger meg egentlig.
Alltså för jag tänker så här, hur vet man att man inte blir lurad? Hur vet man att man hittar en bra revisor? Liksom?
Altså, det er så stor konkurranse mellom de, og hvis noen blir tatt i å fuske eller lure, så vill de være uten jobb, og det er de ikke interessert. De tjänar gode penger på å være ärlig och rädd.
Fan, typ hålla på med timanställda och så här OB och...
Ja, precis.
Jag har inte ens haft ett jobb där jag haft lön liksom.
Deltidsanställd eller timanställd och sådana grejer också.
Just det. Alltså det blir bara så här, man ska inte vara någon anställd, man vill ju bara ha en slav.
En praktikant forever.
Vart hittar man slavar någonstans? Kan du fråga det?
Kan du kolla med det?
Der har vi den.
Ja, vart handen. Shit. Hej, nu sätter vi oss här. Nej, sätt dig här. Ni får fortsätta.
Hej, det är Sven.
Hej Kjelle.
Beklagar om jag förstyrrar dig. Jag vet att du har mycket att göra. Så jag ska vara ganska kort.
Är det meningen att vi ska fortsätta på samma blad idag som vi gjorde igår eller?
unge flickor som har tänkt att starta sin egen bedrift. Det är ett konstnärligt projekt. De ska starta en liten teatergrupp och så har de lust att laga ett aktieselskap då. Och så lurar de på helt konkret hur de gör en löning i forhold till ansatte.
Du måste säga vad det är du vill.
Sociala utgifter. Nej, de bara lurar på om de kan ansätta.
Jag är mycket besviken på dig.
Kostnader för dem att ansätta andra genom det.
Jaha.
Men, ja. Ja. Ja, okej.
Du kunde ha blivit döda.
Vad fan ska jag med den här till?
Men man måste också
Jag var rädd idag.
för sociala avgifter även om de bara är timanställda.
Ja,
Ja, men Kjell, jag vill faktiskt inte ha den här.
jag trodde jag skulle förlora dig.
Jag vill inte ha en jävla dammsugare med 13 meter extra long reach.
Men ingen sticker upp mot din gamla farsa.
Ja. Du får ta den här.
Hur är det?
Det är bra. Kjelle, jag har inte plats för den här. Jag behöver inte ha den här. Och jag har faktiskt
Är det något som har hänt?
Nej, det är ingenting som har hänt och jag har inte tid.
Ska vi prata om det?
Mikael, kom ihåg att fråga om timanställda också.
Just det.
Det här är alldeles strax klart. Nu får du gå.
Så är det en ansvarig.
Det är inte klokt. Det hade ju kunnat hänt vad som helst.
Kjelle, du får gå nu. Nu får du gå. Jag vill faktiskt inte ha den här
Du är ju
dammsugaren.
klädd som en hora.
Nu får du gå. Nu får du gå. Hej då. Det går bra.
Vet du vad
tänkte
din
bara-
mamma gjorde när hon väntade dig?
Ja, nu går det ut.
Hon
Nu går det
kom
ut.
hem och
Nu,
målade
Kjell.
hela rummet rosa. Hon var säker på att det skulle bli en liten flicka.
Ja, men nu blev det ju det också.
Privat hem samtidigt. Om man hade
Nu går du.
avgifter, till exempel månads...
Kjell, dra härifrån.
I Norge. Jag tänkte jobba i Norge.
Vad fan är det du håller på och kollar efter?
Vi är bara här för att jobba ihop jävligt mycket pengar för att kunna köpa
Jag är bara modig när jag måste det.
Fint. Folk tränger del startkapital för att få mer lån. Det är nu.
Nu går det. Kom.
Nu ska vi...
Att vara
Kjell.
modig betyder inte att man söker efter fara.
Nu behöver jag nog lite hjälp här.
Jag ska
Det är bara att ta
berätta
tag i varsin arm och varsitt ben och så lyfter vi upp
något för dig. Jag ska berätta något för dig som min far sa till mig när jag var
Ja, det
liten.
får du göra ute.
Se på stjärnorna.
Nu är det på tiden.
Tack så mycket.
Så när du än känner dig ensam
Ja. Nu kommer du här.
så tittar alla kungarna på dig.
Nu reser du dig upp. Nu reser du dig upp för i helvete.
Jag ska berätta en sak för dig.
Beautiful. So, how did you work before this scene? What is done?
Yeah, I think here's example on working different with different actors, because I don't know if anyone were here yesterday, but I talked about this actor in Stockholm that I saw playing like he was older and the rest of the theater group was younger, and he was just doing something really crazy. This is the guy who's playing the father here, or the guy coming with the the gift. And I think maybe by seeing him and doing this weird stuff, I thought like this guy, I can just do something. Like the idea I got was that this character showing up as the father, and that we find text from a lot of other films with the father talking to a child. So all his lines are from other Bergman films and Lion King and a lot of things. And then these girls...
It's all film quotes, every line he has.
Yes, everything he says. And then I think I asked Nina, Bianca, Elin, because they were in Oslo for 1 month. So I said to them, okay, but find quotes. So they have been writing out a lot of quotes, and he just got, every morning he got this paper with a lot of lines he had to say. And that's also why he doesn't know his lines. So it's like, yeah. So that's an example on how we are here, we're filming, and it's hard to learn all those things so fast. So then I just use it like she's saying, what are you looking at? I thought that was funny also, that it was this kind of old structure of filmmaking meeting improvised structure. So, but then because I don't like to, I like to work with people that I don't have to explain why that is funny to have that in the film. So when I said that, wouldn't it be funny that we make this character, and he says, and then of course Nina and Bianca Elin just said, oh yeah, that we will do that, and Clara was on it, and he was on it. And then yes, and the guy Per, who's acting as the part of giving the girls advice, I think he was only filming that one day with us, so he didn't know much about the project. I just told him that he was going to teach them about how to run business and explain them about the economy, and he had his own aktieselskap, I think, so he knew something about it. We had some guys who got the same task, but they knew nothing about the economy, and that was also really fun, because then they just saying things, and it sounded like, is it really like that? So, but then, yeah, so that's an example on a person coming in and, don't know so much about the project, but then it's really nice also to have him just react as he does when that, he didn't know that, he didn't know like he was going to be any weird or anything, this guy with the, he doesn't know that he is saying lines from movies, I think.
So you didn't inform him about that?
No.
This is your line, just accept it.
Yes, I informed the guy who's coming with the vacuum cleaner, but I think that Per, who plays this other part in the scene, that he's not prepared on it coming any weird person into that room. He just knows, explain these girls about economy. And also we have one scene where Susanne Sundfør is playing, and I didn't tell anyone that she was coming. So some of them are not realizing it's her. Like when she's singing, they're just like, oh, who's that girl singing? And then some of them are like, oh, but isn't that... so I really like hiding some information from, But I think some of them know a lot, and that's why they can improvise the way they do also. Like Nina, Bianca, and Elin, how they are... like looking at each other and tuning into each other. That's because we've talked so much, I think, about yeah, that you get, you know that they feel the same as I do, as like if someone says like, I know what your mother, she wanted to paint the room pink. I mean, that kind of things, you feel like, oh my God, that makes me sick, you know. And I know how, yeah, I know that they will react in a nice way to some things. And of course, they also had picked out those lines and made the script, so for him.
So these surprises you are making for the actors and the team somehow, is it, do you know what you want out of it, or is it just like, okay, I want to see what happens as well?
Yeah, I want both, because I want like a room where everyone is focused at the same time, because I know from editing that you really need those moments where it's just going together. I really like that, and when something is happening in the background and at the same time, I really like that. But I'm very open to, maybe we film for 2 hours and it happens in 3 minutes, and then I can choose those 3 minutes.
So you have a 2 hours shooting?
Yeah, many times, or sometimes more than that also. But in this is a smaller scene, so then it's not so long. But some of the others where there are even more people, I like to just keep them in characters for, yeah, 2 hours maybe. Don't, because it's, if everyone goes out of character and they start, hello, oh, my real name is that, and then it's suddenly so. When you have not so much money also, it's like I can ask them, come and be a part of this in 2 hours and get some lunch, and it's I don't have inspillingsleder or these functions who can manage all these people, so it's easier if they just.
So you make a role play basically,
yeah,
and see what happens,
yeah,
and then you gather the material you need, and.
That has been the method for these 2 feature films. And I think also this dancing scene where
Yes.
We did like 3 times as many scenes as in the movie, and then it relates to another scene who's not in the movie, but where they had an argument with this man. So I think before that dance, I kind of wanted those feelings to get up, and then you can refer to something that we filmed and say, remember how he acted in that situation. And
maybe we can also talk something some about the actor as participant in a project, making their own projects, making movies. Now you're having a workshop with actors. How's your approach and thoughts about this?
I think actors have really, really good. I mean, you are so, as an actor, you're so good at listening, and that is what you're doing as a director too, and an editor. So I think it's maybe those technical things that you think is film, and that can scare some people and think that, okay, but I have to leave this to the professionals. But like I see the students in the group on the workshop, like that you're, like one guy talked about yesterday that he hadn't filmed so much, but yesterday he just filmed for 4 hours, he really looked like he had very easy for it, and he said that the experience of knowing how to listen to your fellows at the stage, it gives you so much help in knowing how to frame and how to be as a camera person. I think that when it's nice photography in films, especially what I like, it's when the photographer is really, really listening and creating tension, and that as an actor I think you have a great advantage on doing that. And also with the editing, like I think it would be it's a liberating thing for an actor, I think, to be able to edit, because then you can see how yeah, how much possibilities you get when you film. Also, when you know that it can be edited and you can do crazy things and it can be horrible, and then doesn't matter at all. You can take it away and you can do. Yeah.
The last 20 years, the technical equipment for making movies has been more or less accessible for everybody, starting to be. And I'm sure that this also have changed our attitude to movie making and the possibilities, the possible processes of making movies. I don't know if, do you consider yourself as a part of that change somehow?
Yeah, I think after school it was possible for me to buy a camera, the same camera we've used on all our films, and I think it costed 18,000. So of course, it's something, but it's if you plan it and you work, get some jobs, and it's possible to do that. And then you.
What camera is it? I'm sure there are
It's
nerds
like
here.
a Canon 5D camera. So it looks like a still build camera, and also of course with the editing that it's cheap. So. But I think that some of I really love John Cassavetes' work, and I mean he was filming on film, and you think, because some problems can be that you with video and everything you film so much, like you have so many opportunities to edit later, and you get stuck in the editing room. But he seemed to be stuck in the editing room even if it was with film, and they didn't have money, but they got they got films from the big studios who they didn't need all the end tapes or something, and so I think that you have to find kind of a balance in life, how much you want to be out shooting, meeting people, and how much you want to be alone, controlling everything afterwards. It's not. Yeah, it's nice, both of it.
One more thing I want to throw in here is you have also been writing articles connected to feminism and the discussion about gender. Can we say something about gender in Norwegian movies today? How we deal with that?
I don't know. I think for me, I think that it plays a really huge difference who is making the ideas and who is holding the camera and who's editing and who is in front of it and who is owning the production. So that really, really affects the pictures that we make. So, for example, for us that we started our own company when we made these films with Verdenventer, I don't think we would have made these pictures if we knew that, okay, but we have to show it to those and those. I mean, the freedom that comes when you can be alone with your stuff is really important. And I think a lot of the portraits in that film, with how the men and the women are portrayed, are really yeah, I think I don't know. It's like I think for me it's I don't know why it's when I was in Sweden I've written a book about this.
Yes, you have. That's why I asked.
And in a way, I feel I say everything I feel about it in that book. But I think that because when I came to Sweden, when people started talking about feminism, I was like, but why is that so important to use so much time on that? and everything. And I felt like I've been doing whatever I want my whole life. I've been not treated any differently at all. And then, but after what I really experienced in Sweden was that suddenly the room was a bit bigger. Suddenly men respected me a bit more, I felt, in the school system. And there were little things like the professors being very proud of everyone who's taking time off to be with their children, like if men did it, if women did it. Like when I told my mentor right before maybe tomorrow we're going to shoot it, I said, oh, I'm pregnant now. And he said, like, that's wonderful. You will be so much wiser when you have children. And he wasn't worried at all, or he didn't place that worry on me. And those things, I think, were really, really good at the school. And also, I think some of the men, they're just more used to that being a part of how you relate to the world, and maybe not so afraid of that conversation.
About
gender,
children,
about difference between men and women, and I felt that it was. I mean, I hear that someone says, "Oh, but Sweden is so strict and politically correct, and you can't say anything. Everything is." But I found that it was that conversation was there, gave.
There is a conversation there constantly. That's what you're saying, which is helping you to kind of.
Yes, and that the fact that suddenly guys in my class, we were 3 girls and 3 guys, and we were in Finland on some trip, and the guys started arguing about the Finnish guys about feminism, and we could just sit there and listen. We didn't have to take it as my battle all the time. You know, that was a really different, and it makes me so very grateful for experiencing that. And that continues also. I think that when you get, and I think that being more aware of these things, at least for me, it's made me less shy in demanding money and things, because you know that this is something that's very not equal. So you should not be ashamed to go in there and ask for money, and you should look at the numbers, like how much money do these guys who have a company get, and how much money do these? I mean, in Norwegian film, I think it's extremely many interesting female directors, and also some male directors. But I think maybe as female, you. But I'm not so into. I don't want 100 million for my film. Otherwise, I think I don't long for that. I don't think that longing for the big that's not where it's interesting. But to be working and to be practical and to get deeper into something and continue doing that and not having to stop doing that because you get children and things. That's why she is in here. And I think that is something very practical that we can use. Like Alexia, they take care of your children while you work out. They know that we have to do this to get our customers. But cinemas should do that, or festivals, or how can we make people being able to engage in art even though you have other commitments.
Cool. We are getting close to the end here. I just want to open up for a short round of questions or comments, if there are some. I'm sure there are some. Yes, me.
Actually, I have 2 questions. I don't know if that's allowed. One is of production, technical questions. Do you edit as you go, or do you edit after when you have all the material?
The last projects, I've this film I edited afterwards. We've shot for 5 weeks and then edited for 2 years. And this one or not all the time in 2 years, but we did other films too. But the film I'm making now is kind of, I felt that, that was too long. Some of the energy got lost. So now I'm editing, I'm filming for some days, and then I look at it and edit it a bit, and then decide what I'm filming next. And that also relates to, now I'm filming with a lot of babies and parent, and I have a son who's 1 year old. So, and that it matches the way of living a lot, because when you have a baby, you can't plan. I don't know how he's going to be like in 3 months. So it's really good to have this, okay, filming for 3 days and then taking that in and planning. And that's also, I think, if you have your own company structure, you can talk to the one you work with and say, okay, this is my situation now. Maybe someone is getting divorced and they have children. I know Ruben Östlund does that. He has 2 children, and he films the weeks he don't have them, and then he's with them the weeks where he have them. So, yeah. I want this editing process to be faster.
Other questions? You had a second?
Well, then it's referring more to the concept and the way you work. I absolutely loved this film. It's beautiful, and it brought me nearly to tears. So I just want to say how beautiful I thought it was, and the way you work is amazing. But I also know that you work in a different way to the commercial way of working, where a lot of people want the end product to be, that's the important part of the production, to make a great film that as many people in the world as possible will see. How do you feel that, how do you value the different parts, the actual production together with the actors and the editing, and how much does the end product mean to you and to reach an audience?
I think the end product means a lot. Like, that is what you're thinking about all the time. When you make it and when you edit it, it's like, how will it hit someone when it's final? And also, yeah, with Maybe Tomorrow, we were there in the cinema, like for the first 30 screenings or something. We were always there, like talking to the audience about what they were experiencing. And so, and also I think it's nice to, because that I can feel, that film is like, it's expected that you have it up in cinemas and then you get some weeks and then it's down, and it's, yeah, maybe some streaming or something, but I think that when you work with longer, like some of the characters from one film is part of the next, and I'm thinking that when the next film will be finished, these other films can also be screened again, so you can see the whole journey, and that is, yeah, so maybe to try to have a longer point of view. No, don't be devastated if you don't make big sales the first year after a film is made. Depends on how much energy you have also when it comes to the distribution. So
Somebody else? Yes.
I just wonder, is there somewhere I can see the whole movie?
Where can we see your movies now?
yes, now I should really have that. It's this World is Waiting is kind of a film I feel you have to see on a big screen, because it's this scene is quite simple, but some of the scenes are people are talking all the time, so it's really a nice experience to see it on a big screen. We've had some screenings at Kunstnernes Hus Kino, and I think we will try to get it into there again. And then Vega is opening soon, so maybe, yeah, maybe when this next movie will be done in January, February.
So only on cinema. I wrote many years ago. I wrote. You probably don't remember, but I wrote a mail. I wanted to see one of your movies because I was writing an article. I said, "No, you can't. You only see it in a movie theater."
Especially with it. But the other one I have on link, and it's also on Deichmann on DVD, and yeah.
So it is accessible for people if they really want to see it on the TV.
Yeah.
Okay, somebody else before we take a break? Yes.
I'm just wondering a little bit about your process when you're shooting. You always start with the bigger pictures, and then you see what's going on, and then you go into the close-ups and choose your way forward on the fly, or how planned is?
Yeah, we don't have like a storyboard or anything, but often I tend to be quite big pictures first and then go closer, and then yeah, and often with the big scenes with many actors, I have kind of given them directions in advance on email, so I have kind of I don't know who is going to. I kind of very much active listening to who is what is happening, almost like it's a documentary.
Yeah. So you have to take the decisions you make on set is really important. Like
yes.
You make the choices, much of the choices there,
yes.
where you put the close-ups and.
Yeah. And then I don't stop them often. If I get, okay, maybe he can have that speech now and talk about that, I just go and whisper that to him, and then all of the other are just in characters to kind of, yeah, hold the tension in a way.
Gianluca?
Yeah, I was wondering, do you shoot only with one camera, or do you have multiple cameras? Because, for example, that decision you had to sort of show the reactions of the people trying to keep their conversation, it's a visual choice which is very smart, and it seems sort of kind of choice you take when you prepare the shooting day, and not when you sort of work documentary style and you try to follow what's going on with the main action. So I was wondering if you use multiple cameras, or if you just...
We just had one camera on this film, and then, but I think we had talked about that when this father person comes, that he wants to have a more straight film style. So just with him, we filmed him like he got these nice shots with. So we tried to make more ordentlig film when we filmed him.
It's a more but it is a more stereotyped way of.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we're not very good at it, so we had him coming into Oslo, and we thought maybe we should do this on a tripod and like follow him. And we did it that like sky down in there with the uprights and everything, and it looks not so much like.
Okay, did we have one more question? Did I see some? Yeah, yes.
When you work, when you let your actors stay in character for that long and you shoot do that many takes, I was just wondering, is that because you know exactly what you want from the scene, or is it because you want the unexpected, the things that you didn't know was there in the scene?
I think it's both. Sometimes, I mean, holding them in character for a long time is. It's actually, I haven't shown you a good example of that because it wasn't like that in this scene, but some of the other scenes. And then it's more to let everyone get natural and don't prestere. But I also kind of, I think I recognize when I think, okay, but now it's about what I think it's about, because then I've written to all of them and given them, like, often I tend to give them, we're over time, aren't we?
No, we're
can
okay.
I show,
no, finish your reasoning.
If I can
Just
show you one email and 1 second of a clip, then it will be easier to... Yeah, like here is an example of these mails I send to them, and often they don't get it maybe just the night before. But in this scene, I worked with someone they have been in the earlier film too, so I kind of knew. I knew a lot of. We had some to build on, but this is Gorky who's playing one of them, and they're in like this film premiere setting, and this is what he gets. Like, he's had a very troubling process with the film, no money for post-production. He don't know what he if he likes the film anymore. And then this thing that Bill, he's talking about a new project going on underwater based on stories from the Bible and the Quran. I tend to give them like crazy details that I get like, oh, I really want to see if they catch on to this. And then
I like the project name. The place nobody knew about the Quran and Bible.
And then that he's just been a dad and he wants to be home with his child and not being here. But yeah, I think he also told, and then there's a Norwegian co-producer, Jon Lindgren, and then yeah. And then that he's told his wife that it will come more money. So I kind of, yeah, given him a lot of kind of, and then this is an example on how it's.
Før du kom hit i dag.
Til neste gang så skal jeg være veldig mye tydeligere med mennesker.
Ja, det håper jeg at du er. Fordi
det lover jeg deg.
Du skal ikke bare love meg det, du skal love deg selv det. Fordi sånn som du har behandlet de menneskene rundt som faktisk har blitt brukt for at du skal kunne stå på premiere og holde taler og få lov til å vise filmen din og få lov til å gjøre alle disse tingene her, holde tale og gå på røde løper og alt dette her. Det har du brukt ham til å kunne gjøre det.
Jag tänkte återigen det som är, det finns saker och ting med filmen som kanske inte är så som vi alla önskar att de hade varit, men i grund och botten har vi en stark film liksom i sin kärna, är den stark och den är berörande och det är vad man vill ge folk liksom, en upplevelse. Det är ett tragiskt öde som jag personligen, jag vet också som att du som författare, vi har försökt göra det rättvisa liksom. Vi har satt oss in i det och framförallt med din hjälp, att du har förkroppsligat den karaktären och den resan, så bjuder man publiken på det och ja, det är vårt jobb, det är vårt yrke liksom. Att göra det osynliga synligt. Och jag är
So all of these guys have gotten a lot of problems to think about. Like this guy, he got that he is together with a man, this guy in the blue shirt, and they got really in love during the production, but he's not allowed to bring him to the premiere. So he's planning on having this confrontational talk and saying like, this is not okay. So, yeah. So they're not really listening so much.
And you don't know what will happen when here? Or?
I kind of get it going, and then I get the hunch on, okay, but maybe you can do your speech now. So here he's doing his speech, and then I get him, the guy with the blue shirt, to do it afterwards.
So it's almost like a sort of storytelling on the set. I mean, decisions are being made there and then, so it's kind of writing the script as you shoot, sort of.
Yeah.
But with
and kind of, I know from advance that I want it to be really uncomfortable, and then it's like, who is going to make it the most uncomfortable? Then.
It's very interesting. Okay, I think we should take a break and then we continue the conversation after 10 minutes. Thank you so much.